point of satire from the Vanderbilt cartoon?
Just kidding.
Rhiannon.
Symbolism. Vanderbilt is very big.
And what does bigness symbolize in political
Very rich
cartoons?
and very powerful.
Very rich and very powerful. Let's have another bit of satire from that first cartoon. Another bit of satire. Austin?
Well, the railroads are labeled, and there's a sign that says, like, everything must pass through this Vanderbilt crossing place.
So I think there's two things that you're talking
Yeah,
about.
well, there's the sign and there's the labels on the railroad.
Good. So what, Austin, do you think the artist is getting at when he has all these different railroads that are labeled different things? They're different railroads.
Well, I think Vanderbilt took over all these railroads and then combined them to be efficient, and they're all crossing each other because they all have to go through his legs because he's controlling it.
They all have to go through his legs, and what might that be a symbol for? When you think about the person that wants to take a train to go travel somewhere, they have to go through Vanderbilt. What is that?
That's their only choice. They don't have another choice of another railway.
Right. So there's no, when we talk about competition, that actually affects consumers. Sabir, can you give me another example of something you see in this political cartoon that is satire, that's funny or symbolism or something like that?
His legs.
What about his legs?
Those two guys.
And what's that?
Railroads.
They're what?
Oh, the railroads.
Okay, they're holding the railroads. Good. What do you think those two guys symbolize? Maybe. They're dressed kind of nice. They look kind of like businessmen. Do you think they are regular American people just trying to take a train somewhere? Or do you think there's something else?
Other business companies.
Exactly. They're businessmen. Evan, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I actually just noticed this, but on the stairs, on his left foot, it says 5-cent ride for 10 cents.
Oh, wow. I never noticed that. So 5-cent ride for 10 cents, what does that mean?
It just means that the prices are double.
Right, so Vanderbilt is charging consumers an unfair price. Good.
How do you
So,
charge?
I think you guys have hit on everything. Austin?
Didn't he actually charge people less money, and that's why he strangled out the competition?
He charged less money to eliminate his competition. Once they were gone,
he
was the only person.
So he could raise them again.
He could charge whatever he wanted. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the Vanderbilt cartoon? I want to just bring one other thing to your attention. The title is the Colossus of Rhodes, like roads that you walk on. There's a Greek statue that's actually one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world called the Colossus of Rhodes. This Rhodes? Which is a place in Greece. So people in Vanderbilt's time would know this cultural reference. They would have heard of this statue. And the statue is actually a 100 feet tall guy standing like this at a port in the city of Rhodes. Yeah.
They said it didn't actually stride the channel.
Another fire drill.
It doesn't. It's like on the edge of the water, but it's on 2 pillars. So that's another. Just if you were living at Vanderbilt's time, you would have recognized that. All right, I'm talking too much. What about the next one? We're looking for 3 examples of satire, specific things you guys see in this cartoon. Ali, let's hear from you. What's something you notice happening?
Rockefeller is holding the White House, half of it.
He's holding the White House.
Yeah.
And what do you think the artist is trying to communicate? Who lives in the White House? President.
Yeah.
So what does that say about Rockefeller's relationship to the president?
Yeah,
He
kind of.
owns him.
Yeah.
He controls the president. That's scary. Okay, what else? Daisy, what do you see in this cartoon?
Money.
Money. Where do you see money?
Under the house.
Absolutely. So Daisy makes a great observation. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's money under the White House, which symbolizes the U.S. Treasury. So that's a big
Money?
financial institution that
didn't see
Rockefeller's got in his hand. What about the building with smokestacks in the back? What building is that? Capitol building. What happens in the Capitol building?
Laws are made.
Laws. Congress happens in the Capitol building. So basically we have oil refining happening in Congress. Congress has become a facilitator for the oil refining business. And just maybe someone from the Rockefeller Group, what was happening that would inspire the artists to make this cartoon? What did Rockefeller do? We know. History. Who was in the Rockefeller Group? D. Simpson, Ellie. Yeah, just really quick, one sentence. What did Rockefeller do? He owned everything. He was the king of oil.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, this is kind of a familiar theme. Don't want to beat a dead horse. But, yeah, okay. In the last minute, let's look at the final cartoon on the back of your paper. And can I hear, we've been talking about Rockefeller. What point does this cartoon make? We haven't really gotten at Ellie.
The company, the Standard Oil Company.
Yeah.
It's his company.
Is Rockefeller's.
Yeah.
Exactly. Great. What else? Austin, yeah.
It's kind of like strangling out all the other companies.
Mm-hmm. It's quite literally strangling other companies, Evan.
It's the monster of Monopoly, so it's like a giant octopus thing.
Yeah.
Strangling.
It's a really good analogy. Gabe?
It's like, since oil controls everything and Rockefeller controls all the oil, and therefore controls everything.
And when you say everything, you're exactly right. Let's just list off some of those little things that the tentacles are grabbing. What are some things that you see, Abdi? Small companies. So this competition that all these guys claim they love, they're actually strangling it out. Daisy. Banks. Very interesting. Yes, Samson?
One of the
White
lines
House
is
is there
stretching
now.
to the Capitol building.
Yeah, I wondered if anybody would see that. You see
I'll
way
go
in the
back
corner,
to
the
the
Capitol, the
Capitol
American
building.
flag.
Oh, the Capitol.
Nick, did you have something? Okay.
What
Jackson?
else? Does
I think,
ship
I'm
on
not
or something?
100% sure. I think it says this one right here. It says insurance company, but it's
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't know the history. I don't know if he had his fingers in insurance companies too. Probably. Abdi? Train. Yep. Because why is oil important to railroads? You need oil to run trains. Sure.
Ships.
Ships. Yeah, I saw that too. And it looks like this boat has
Yeah.
barrels of gunpowder. I wonder if that's a reference to like the U.S. military. Jackson?
What is that?
the boat on the way back kind of looks like a
Where's
fishing schooner. I'm not sure if that's.
Mm-hmm.
No, this thing's small.
Yeah, it could
I think
be.
they're people.
So, what is the take-home point from
People? I
this
don't know.
political cartoon?
Hmm.
What? Just to reiterate what we talked about on the previous Rockefeller cartoon, what is the takeaway? How would you summarize this artist's interpretation? Tim, what do you think? Give me a 1 to 2 sentence summation of the monster of Monopoly.
What?
If you were to say in words what you think this artist's message is, how would you verbalize that political cartoon?
I would say Rockefeller is a monster.
Okay, Rockefeller is a monster. Maybe we could elaborate on that. Anybody else want to throw in 2 cents? So, let me ask it a different way. How is this political cartoon different from this one? They're both about Rockefeller, and we know that he's a very powerful person, but what is the slightly more subtle message that we get from the monster of Monopoly?
Excuse me. With like sort of, if you said here, the Standard Oil Company is taking control of the competition, and in turn, the competition sort of like is now the I can't really explain it other than like because he has ties to that, most of the money goes to him rather than
To smaller businesses, to other people. And I think, just to sort of piggyback on what Jackson is saying, the monster... Oh, sorry, Evan, go for it.
I was gonna say that it's more negative because you have this giant monster attacking buildings and derailing trains.
It's pretty violent.
Yes.
He's
so
kind
it's
of...
like destroying all of these smaller businesses.
Yes.
It's monopolies.
Absolute destruction. One more, Austin?
I don't know. I just kind of thought that maybe since they're like tentacles, it's like sucking all the like economy out of like everything else. I don't know.
There's a lot of ways that the monster is a really good metaphor. It sucks the life out of the economy. It's far-reaching in many different directions. One thing that I took away from this political cartoon is that as an American, as a consumer who needs to ride the train, who needs to use the bank, who needs oil for my daily existence, there's no part of my life that isn't touched by Rockefeller. To think about one person having so much control over my daily life is scary, it's infuriating. So thinking about this political cartoon as a consumer, I think is another nuance. Okay. That was great. If you guys could just pass your work forward, I would really